Dogmatika for you today. Sprigguns leap on into action, and of course we have some other interesting meta like Rikka as well. Make sure you guys smash the like and crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Now this is, I think, one of the most interesting Dogmatika piles that I have had the chance to actually see out here, because you're not playing branded fusion, actually. You're doing like the Nadir servant plays, which is fine, you know, clearing things out, you know, recruiting for an ecclesia or something along the way can be good. But everything still comes down to basically Alba Zoa being the big bad guy that you want to see, on top of, you know, just how stupid this card can be some days. Now, we are also relying on buy steals to kind of control the opponent's graveyard, which is good. We also have Gen, and of course Ken out here, getting you supposedly some free value out here, but we're not playing, you know, we're not maximizing. It's just one talents in the triple thrust, which is fine, you know, taking control of your opponent's card or using it to capitalize. But then I question, you know, like, we have a Fallen of Albaz in here. Like, I guess we're just using this like a hard fusion off of the opponent's field if need be. But I do kind of wonder, you know, like, could we benefit from having branded fusion in here? Would it be to our advantage to try to do it? Or do we just value, you know, the Ken and Gen interactions more than anything that branded fusion could quite possibly bring to the table? I don't know. But this deck has had its success runs at top 32 to regional. It's top 4 plenty of its local events. So it's enough to kind of put a spotlight on this and go, hey, you know, this is what we're working with here. These are the ideas that are being presented. And it does look like it does have a chance to actually kind of come together and do something. Also, shout out down here to the Unending Nightmare. We've really come far enough that this card is finally getting the chance to shine in the meta. Okay, I'm telling you, if you like the Dogmatika lore and you want to try something like this, I think you'll actually have some fun with this. Alright, now we have our Sprigguns Turbo deck here. Once again, these really weird Fallen of Albaz placements that I'm really seeing in these lists has been kind of hilarious, actually. I also see we are doing the Nemesis flag with the Nemesis Corridor. You know what that means. Where is he? There's the Colossus. You know, I'm not going to lie to you, though. Being able to end on like a Sargass with, like, you know, the ability to rank up on into this off of like a Full Armored Xyz on the back, with a Colossus sitting next to it with whatever else you might be pairing up here, could actually be a deadly combination. I do see that this build does have some very interesting utility options. We do have the one sprint, you have the Dweller, you have the Cowboy, and you also have a Trisbania in here as well. Trisbania being able to kind of take care of any of those more pesky spells and traps that your opponent might be having. I do believe, from where this event was, having things like this to be able to clean up more of those roguish back rows definitely is going to help. I also see here we have the Swords of Concealing Light as well. Okay, we also have a Hatronade in here, and I think this is also kind of interesting. Draco Utopian Aura actually seeing some play in here as well. Now, depending on how your Sprigguns board ends and how you set up, this might actually just be a card that can just kind of win you the free game. Speaking of winning the free game out here, this is another deck that can actually make the Utopic Future Draco stuff, and we already know, unless you got like a Droplet or something, or like an Imperm to kind of deal with this, this card actually can be a very big annoyance. It actually amazes me that people just don't really sometimes have outs for this. Other interesting things, we have one Dark Roller in the side with no thrust or ability to toggle into it. Huh, that's kind of interesting. You do have the one drop. I guess the rotating like the Droplet for this as a side deck choice would be one of the biggest things I'd be seeing here. But okay, what else we got going on back here? We have Labyrinth for you here. Now, first thing I'm going to tell you, all of these Labyrinth's at a point right now that it needs to kind of figure out what its identity is. You know, are we going to go more trap heavy? Are we going to go more furniture heavy? Like, you know, are we going to rely more on hand traps to kind of fix the situations that we find ourselves in? That's definitely what we're seeing this deck right now kind of struggle with. Now, I will say it is kind of nice to see the Dark Barrier statue built into the main deck. 95% of the time we find this usually in the side deck, just as one of those cards, you know, You might run into something dark along the way. You also do see the double transaction rollback in here. I will say double transaction rollback has become the standard. You don't see these builds pushing down on the 3 of these anymore, even though, 3 might actually seem like a good option now. You're focusing just very, very contently on this. I do see we have the Simul Archfiends down here as well. This card has been getting some very interesting love right now. I really do feel like Barrier can be a better card, but basically being able to jam out literally same type, I feel like people find that to be a little bit more of an advantage. So, I don't know. I don't have much thoughts on Simul Archfiends at the moment versus D-Barrier. I just feel like D-Barrier just feels like a completely better win card. But being able to kind of hit more, I can understand that. Outside of that, I mean, it's also good to see we're actually playing Extrav down here, though this extra deck doesn't really feel like it is very tolerant of Extrav. You figure maybe you want to double down on some things, but I feel like they're just trying to play their best game off of what resources that they can have left if they actually have to access the extra deck. It's not like you really need to. It's just kind of one of those situations. Maybe we need to come up with an answer, and we can. Also, only 1 Arias. It's also interesting. All right. Finally! An actual branded deck. Man, we've seen all of these little options and things available out here, but we need to see something that actually is kind of interesting. Now, I will say this is kind of out there. We're only playing 2 copies of Evenly Matched. We're on 48 cards. And you're telling me that we just chose to have double evenly. Okay. I also see we're actually playing an Incredible Ecclesia in here as well. That's not... it's not something I feel like I tend to see very much of either. You do see the Brandon High Spirits doing its thing as a 1 of. Though, most of the time I feel like we see this, it's like a 3 of. Just for the absolute gas that it needs to be. We're also side decking. This duelist really loved 2 ofs. Because you got like the double Crossfire, you have the double Barrier, or double evenly, you have the double Barrier, you have double Imperm as well. Like, what are these ratios? They also chose to side deck their hand traps for the 2 ofs. I don't know what to think about this. Also, we are doing 1 Druid, or 1 Magna Hut, the 1 Saronir with 1 Lubellion. I don't know how I feel about this, though. I guess it should be obviously a free summon. You can obviously toggle on into a Lubellion, grab yourself a free Saronir, and kind of get off to the races that way. That's fine. You do also see the 1 Mercurian here, the double Brandon in red as well. 1 Brandon regained, and none of the trap card. We are doing Retribution. We are doing the Fusion Duplication in here as well. And, of course, this build's going triple talents with 1 thrust. Holy moly, like, I guess just full absolute gas for what you want to see here. But outside of that, pretty straightforward deck. Some interesting ratios. The 2 ofs kind of are interesting, but you're already at 48 cards. I feel like you can safely extend out a little bit better here and maybe achieve some slightly better results. But that's just me. And, of course, winning this event here was actually Rikka Sunavalon. Hey, we are doing the Aromage stuff in here. You do see the Magnolia, and we do have the Rosemary. Okay. We are doing an Adipus in here. Oh, okay. This is a new one. I haven't seen any builds actually trying out the Trap Tricks Insect Link 3, but okay. We are also playing a non-fusion area in here as well. Is there just like so much fusion happening in the course of this event that we kind of needed a chance to I guess have something like this? But okay. And you see the Spiritual Ward Owie. We all love this card. The free little hand rip has been good, though this card has had a lot less play as of late. I think this is the first time I've actually seen this actually out of this meta, and glad to see Rose Whip's actually back. We are sporting off 47 cards, which is fine. You have the double 2 droplets, I guess. There's the... Man, these duels really love these weird ratios. The double Imperm, the double droplet. Okay. Outside of that, 1 Lone Fire, 1 Droll. Well, I guess I can get behind this because of, like, having the cross out. But, okay. You have the other 2 sided anyway. Sure. I'm telling you, these tech choice ratios are going to blow my mind out here. And it's so interesting to see what goes on inside of these duelist heads for the card choices that they make out here. But what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.